Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 609. That's right, Wolfie, episode 609. Oh, hello, there you are. And we are going to, today, on this episode 609, continue walking to the Farlands. Surprise! Surprise! I bet you didn't expect that, but we're going to continue walking to the Farlands here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, as we've been doing for over 5 years now. Today is Tuesday, September 20th, 2016, and if I could ask a favor of you, head on over to farlandsorbust.com. Check on the status of our Child's Play charity fundraiser, as well as maybe click that little donate button to help us reach our goal of $60,000 for Season 6 here. That money goes directly to Child's Play Charity, who help get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world, and we're currently at $40,525.25. Woof! Wolfie's very happy about that number, as am I. That's 67% of the way there. Of course, when we finally do reach that goal is when I finally press F3 and we find out how far we've walked in a bit over a year here since the last time we pressed F3. Actually, a lot over a year since we pressed F3. A bit over a year since we started Season 6. That started in August 2015. So, yeah, that'd be much appreciated. As well as you can ask questions with your donation, and I will add them to the list to be answered in a future episode of Farlands or Bust here. Alright, Wolfie, you... Alright, I'll take care of that, I guess. I really wanted just the wool, but couldn't handle it, could you? So yeah, thank you very much for everybody who continues donating. We appear to have gotten ourselves into a bit of a situation here, although I think we can come down here fairly readily. Except for Wolfie, because he's a noodle, and I have no pigs, and that pig was dry, that we just killed, and now it's a musical. Alright, so let's, we definitely need some pigs here. That is priority number 1, in addition to actually making progress west here. Priority number 2 is to let you all know that I checked the world save file before starting this episode. It's a nice round number. Well, not a round number, but a nice undecimal pointed number. 22,425 megabytes of a world save file. Of course, keep in mind that this world is completely vanilla and completely just walking in one direction, really only loading the chunks surrounding me as I continue to walk. It's just a very thin little spindle of terrain being directed millions of blocks to the west is all this is, and over 5 years that'll reach you up to 22.5 gigabytes, actually, almost. I know that's a number people are often curious about, so there it is. That's what it is that number will continue to grow as we continue west and generating more land here. Wolfie, where are you? There you are. All right. So yeah, that's always a neat thing to know about. To watch. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I gotta decide what or if or when or how I'm going to update or even maintain the Overviewer world file map on the website. I certainly can't host it on my hosting server anymore. That is out of the question. There's simply not space nor bandwidth. Of course, the traffic has died down, but when we had the articles and the Guinness World Record posts, it would take down my website because there's so much traffic. Actually, it really isn't an unheard amount of traffic that I was getting. It's just that what increase in traffic I got, and then suddenly they were loading the world save overviewer map, which is itself thousands upon thousands of little tiny files that over encumbered my host and the site was going down at the most inopportune of times, so I removed it back then and haven't put it back since. So I've got to decide what to do about that fairly quickly. Well, maybe not fairly quickly. I really need some pigs. Why are there no pigs? Where are all the pigs? I might have to do a little bit of a boat journey to find some pigs. I'm going to have to do a bit of a lumber journey right now. I'm almost out of wood. Can't make any boats without wood. So yeah, I've got to decide what to do about that overviewer. I tried to partner with an overviewer website. There's a website that hosts and creates an overviewer map of your Minecraft world. You just upload your Minecraft save, and it makes it very easy to make and populate and upload to. And I was able to contact them once, and they said, sure, go ahead, and here's this, and we'll give you more room so you can fit the giant map there. And then it wasn't working, and then I never heard back from them. So that's the way that cookie crumbled, and it crumbled indeed. So I'll have to consider alternate. Oh, well, this now is a bit too much wood. I have two stacks of wood. That is too much wood. All right, I guess let's replant some of those trees. Let's make a ton of boats. 4 boats. And then we will, you know what, while we're here, let's make a new iron sword. Because that's going to be necessary. And let's continue on. All right. Wolfie agrees. Too long just sitting around doing nothing. We need some pigs. Ooh, I'm in a boat. I was like in the boat. I was the boat. It's a new look for me. So yeah, I would really like to do that. I really need to update the firelandsorbusts.com website. I was hoping to wait until we reached the charity goal, and then for like season 7, like do a little bit of a refresh. Not so much a rebrand. I like the brand, but a refresh of at least the web design. Update my computer specs, because that's a little bit out of date now that I built a new computer. And then also perhaps find a solution for... Alright, you know what? I was going to go sailing to try to find some pigs, but I didn't realize there was this big hunk of land right here in front of us. But then I also got to decide about the overviewer map, which would be nice to have. So who knows? Who knows? We'll see. I also got to like update a bunch of information. Things have changed. Live streaming is up, and Patreon is things, and my store, my shirt store has changed. So gotta get on the ball there, but I gotta find the ball first to get on it. Oh man, we'll be searching for the ball for the next week or two here, because we are, as I mentioned, off to Minecon at the end of this week. Ooh. And hanging out with the Mindcrack crew and even a bunch of other friends we've made through the Minecraft YouTube / streaming community internet webs, and doing that for a bit. And then the week after that is TwitchCon, getting on the ball over there. And then we'll be back, and then it's full steam ahead. Onwards and upwards off the starboard. Ah! Look at all the pigs. Look at all the pigs. Look at all the pigs. Exactly what the Wolfie ordered. That's going to take you a while to get there, but go for it. Boom! Okay, that's one. How about you? Get hit with a boat! Smacked upside the head with a dinghy. Pow! Right in the dinghy. Oop. Alright, these are going to be some soggy Wolfie treats. There were others. They are running. Cannot escape us! Alright, careful, Wolfie. Don't be taking fall damage and leaf block damage. Alright, that pig was dry. Alright, one more. And then we'll probably have to be setting up an elevated hidey hole here while we're at it, yeah? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so let's not do the boat. I almost placed a boat on Wolfie's head. Boop. And we shared that last one. All right. That was what I was trying to avoid, but I did not. All right, let's make An elevated hidey hole. What am I missing here? Oh, that arrangement doesn't look right. Let's actually complete the elevated part of the hidey hole. Place a bed, place a torch, go to sleep, and continue in the morning. And awakeness. And awakeness indeed. This is a nice little alcove. Is that the proper terminology for this geological structure? A cove, alcove, enclave, clavicle? What? No? I don't know. Woof. So, yeah, continuing on. Okay. I made him sit up. Continuing on here, let's actually consider answering some of these questions. I did mention we got a few good donations in there. As you saw, the number jumped a little bit. I think over $100. I think almost $100 for the donations. So you heeded the call. My call was heeded. Heed was happened as far as trying to get more questions to answer because we were running a bit low there. So we've got a nice list here, but we certainly will be needing more. More questions like this one from Tony Sky, or Tony Ski. He's either a pilot, or a downhill skier, or a water skier. Or all three at once, Tony is. Tony asks, I was the guy at PAX South who said he liked your Forza series the most. With the recent Play Anywhere by Microsoft, that is, games when you purchase them can be played both on your Xbox One and the PC without having to repurchase them. With that, will you be playing Forza Horizon 3 on your computer soon, or your Xbox, or will you pass it up like you did Forza Motorsport 6 Apex? Well, the reason I passed that up is because it was literally the same game as Forza 6, which I played and stopped playing. It was actually a pared-down version of Forza 6. I would have liked to have tried it with my wheel, but on release, racing wheels were not at all supported by the PC version of Forza Motorsport 6. I think they've recently added wheel support. I'm not sure if that's the same for Forza Horizon 3. But yeah, I would like to play Forza Horizon 3. I know I've been hearing from Sevidus, his interest in it. And I know as well probably Beef would be interested in it. I'm not sure. Does that mean there's cross-play? Or is that just an ownership licensing thing that you can play on both Xbox or PC? Because that would be interesting. If there's cross-play, then it wouldn't matter what I play on. If I also wanted to participate with Sevidus or Beef or anybody. But if not, then it would have to be probably a strategic decision. Also, when you do this Play Anywhere thing, is your achievements and saves in both, or are they both separate instances? These are questions that I have not had answered, nor have I asked before or looked up, which I'm sure they might be easy answers to find. But yeah, that's something I would definitely wonder. But yeah, of the Forza series the Horizon game was so far my favorite, the most fun, the most enjoyable experience to be had, because I feel, not a popular opinion here, but the Forza Motorsport series is very much a console arcade racing game that's trying to be a simulation game, trying really hard, really hard. As opposed to the Forza Horizon series, knows it's an arcade racing game and embraces that, and then that's what makes the gameplay much more fun and enjoyable, I feel, because it's not these weird opposing forces fighting each other. It is what it is, and it accepts it, and we go forth with that. Of course, there are some weird, like, way too detailed and intricate upgrade and vehicle adjustment options, but if you just ignore that those exist, then you'll be happy with a casual driving and racing experience. Bing! Xbox One. That sounded like an advertisement or like a box quote or something. But, yeah, I mean, I'll certainly be looking forward to it. I think it comes out does it come out the end of the month, or does it come out next month? I think it might come out next month. I think the demo recently came out, which I have not played. But I think the game itself comes out in October or something or other. So yeah, I'll be playing that. And they supposedly have focused more on multiplayer, having like, they used to have like the groups or whatever, the teams, but I think it's more like crews and stuff. So it's possible I could see joining a crew with some friends to play through and hopefully play at the same time even, you know? Who knows? It's all kind of up in the air. But yeah, I'm certainly interested in Forza Horizon. I'm honestly, I don't know that I would ever go out of my way to buy another Forza Motorsport game. Unless there's like some huge overhaul of the engine or the game itself. I have no desire, because the two that I have played have been a very similarly conflicting experience for me. But the Horizon series, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Thank you very much, Tony, for your donation and your question. Low floor bus. When you go to a gas station, do you prefer to pay at the pump or pay inside? Full serve or self-serve? Well, I don't know where you're from, low floor bus, to be honest with you, but it's a very rare thing in the United States to have full service gas anymore, unless you live in one of the 2 states. Is it only 2 states? There might be another one in there that I'm not knowing about. Unless you live in one of the 2 states where self-serve gasoline is banned, is against the law. It's Oregon and New Jersey. I've only ever driven in Oregon, and that was awkward. I don't like that at all, simply because I've grown up my entire life pumping my own gas. I'm very skilled at pumping my own gas. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm like, uh-oh, I need gas. How does this work? You pull up, and like, do I get out of the car? Do I tell them how much? Do I say what kind? What do I do? Do I pay this guy, or do I do something else? So I survived, but yeah, I much prefer that as opposed to having like a third-party person in between there. It was very yeah, no. And in states that I have lived or visited that aren't full service only, I don't know of any. Like, there's no like special gas station you can visit that's full service. They're just all self-service, and that's the way it is. And I do indeed pay at the pump. It's much easier to never have to go inside the store, because I never need to go inside the store. You just swipe a doodle-doo and pump your own gas, and then drive away. I do, however, I'm kind of a stickler when paying by credit card or debit card. I must have a receipt, because I've had instances, and it's not been a while, but in the distant past, where I've been overcharged or mischarged. So I always get a paper receipt anywhere I use a credit card or whatever. So there's many times at a gas station pump where the receipt doesn't print out at the pump, so then I gotta go in and be like, okay, can I get a receipt for pump 7 or whatever it is? But otherwise, yeah. And that was I visited California earlier in the year, and California is strange in that gas stations charge extra to use a credit card at the pump. Or they require you, even with a credit card, to prepay in the store, was my one experience, which I thought was odd. So, yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they do that. For a while it was a big, and it still is, if you have cash, if you're paying with cash, you have to prepay, because stealing gas was a big problem. I don't know how big of a problem it was where it required such a shift, but yeah, no, pay at the pump and pay at the pump and pump your own fuel, will ya? Your petrol. Where is it? How is it in other countries? I'm pretty sure watching Top Gear, they always pump their own gas at the gas stations. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that is the way that cookie crumbles as well. Gotta come up with a new phrase. Davis asks, whoops, I almost started reading that same question over again. Are you a fan of classic rock? Enjoy, yes, and appreciate, yes, and certainly there's certain songs I would listen to if they came on. I wouldn't skip them or anything like that, but a fan, like, I don't seek out, I don't purchase or collect classic rock music or anything like that. But yeah, certainly my dad was, so I kind of know the stuff he listened to and stuff like that. So yeah, I could say it is something that I do not avoid, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Oh, this one's let's actually not do this. I was gonna say we had that extra block that was already pre-placed. I almost made this way too high, and it would have hurt to jump off this elevated hidey hole. Let's do that. Got a few other questions here from Davis, so let's answer those in the morning. And classic rockness. Indeed. And we're out of boats. Good thing I got a lot of planks here from the trees. This is the most poor way to make a series of boats that I've ever seen. I want some torches as well. All right. Davis goes on to ask, if not, then what are your favorite genres? Well, I wouldn't say classic rock is my favorite genre, but some of my favorite genres are more modern rock. I suppose you can say alternative rock grew up with, modern-ish rock, I guess you could say indie rock, the rocks and pebbles and other such minerals. They're minerals, Marie. What are your favorite bands, musical artists? I've gone through this list many times before, so I think I can skip it. Perhaps in the comments. Those who have been here long enough, one of my earliest episodes was actually the iTunes Shuffle game, where you get a bunch of questions and then you shuffle the songs to get the answers from the titles of the songs, and that gave you, like, that was like episode, that was I think even before Wolfie. That was actually when I still had the 5 really annoying wolves. I remember that distinctly because I was trying to get out of a hidey hole and I couldn't because they were all blocking the way. So yeah, that was like episode 28 or 29 or something like that. But yeah, I'll let the people in the comments, perhaps. How well do you know me, long-term Farlanders, to know what bands or artists I may have mentioned previously? This question falls to you. If you were ever to have a song written about you or your YouTube channel, I have, what genre would you want it to be in? I don't know. Whatever it would want to be. I mean, we had Comeback Wolfie. It was kind of... It wasn't. It was pop music, I suppose you could say. And then we've had, of course, crazy remixes made. But yeah, the Comeback Wolfie by Pungence was actually probably the best example I could come up with. A song written about my show or myself or my YouTube series. There, point at that one right there. That one right there. Look at it. Look at it and listen to it. Open your ear balls. Oh man. So yeah, I think that's a good. That's a good answer, right? Yeah, good answer, Kurt. Thanks, Kurt. I'm congratulating myself on my answering duties. I don't know why this cave beckoned to me. What's going on down there? I see light. Head towards the light. Oh, that is the light. All right, well, that was a good explorer. Let's head back, Wolfie. Y'all probably thought there was something fishy going on, huh? Like I had something planned, like there was something scripted about to happen. No. I saw a cave. I haven't been in a cave recently, so I looked at the cave. and that we did indeed. We still need a few more Wolfie treats here, so let's try to gather them as we come across pigs. Oh, that was just a solo pig. That can't be a spawner. In sand, that would make sense, but not in dirt. No, that's just another cave. Gardax, with a donation, asked, what would you define as a video game? This comes after, I didn't copy and paste this part, but there was a couple sentences where he said he was having conversations and discussions about what qualifies a game, or a video game, or a thing as a video game. That's a tough thing, and I honestly don't know that it needs definition or borders or, you know, parameters. I think, like all kinds of either entertainment or art, it's best to leave the borders blurry and fuzzy, so that those boundaries, those borders, can be pushed and challenged, and you know, moved out of the way a little bit for this new thing. I think strictly defining or classifying things tends to, quite literally, is what it does, is it puts them in a box, and it discourages experimentation and any sort of progress. Oh, Wolfie's going on a ride. So yeah. I mean, obviously, for it to be a video game, there has to be some sort of video component, whether or not it be on a computer screen or a television screen. But does that mean that excludes, you know, the old, what's the name of the technology that, like, Asteroids was displayed on? It was like a sine wave screen or something like that. I can't remember what the exact technology was. Do you exclude that? Do you exclude like really low resolution displays, or even, you know, very simplified LED displays? You know, those little digital baseball games that, I don't know if you ever played, that really all it did was have little lights around all the bases and all the positions, and they lit up whenever you hit the ball, quote unquote. Was that a video game? One could argue that it was, because there's, you know, just because your monitor has 1080p resolution, what if it only had 2p resolution? That's still technically video happening in front of you, a visual representation of some digital output or computing going on in the background. I don't know. You know, certainly we don't, you know, if we define things too closely, then we wouldn't end up with things like Mountain, or walking sims like what Connor Sherlock makes, and others, many others. You know, Flash games. So yeah, I don't feel like I've not thought about it, because I've pretty much avoided thinking about it, because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to put things in a definite box. I mean, is what I'm doing right here playing a video game? I'm certainly not playing it as others play it, mostly, or even, you could argue, as intended someone to play this game of Minecraft. Am I still playing a video game, or am I not? Am I, you know, obviously it's a lot easier to say, yeah, you certainly are, you're playing Minecraft, but, you know, there's certainly, you know, what is art? What is a painting? You know, what is sculpture, or whatever? You can get into a lot of trouble. That was a really difficult sentence for Marina to say. You can get into a lot of trouble trying to define such things as these. Number 2 of this question: how will we be able to preserve games to be played for the future, like we can preserve most other kinds of media, like book and film, etc.? Well, we can't, really. Books have disappeared, either accidentally or by force. You know, we've got whole histories of certain civilizations that have been wiped off because one conquering civilization decides that they don't deserve to exist, or their deities are against their own, so they burn all the books or wipe out all the history or tear down all the sculptures and stuff. Same thing with film. It's hard to preserve film. You can digitize it. Obviously, that's one of the better ways to preserve it. But I'm sure there's a lot of original film history, and I know there's certainly even organizations and clubs and even foundations set up to seek out and preserve film, which deteriorates over time. There's even very famously a group that was trying to preserve the Apollo film and pictures and images. They actually, I forgot what they were called, but they set up headquarters in like an abandoned, not an abandoned, but a shut down McDonald's or Pizza Hut or something, and that turned into their office where they had all this equipment to preserve and restore this film for future generations and into archival formats. So yeah, I think I've talked about this before because it was a point of subject about the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, which is starting to catalog video games as art. You can also talk about preserving art. Art is a physical medium. It can disappear and be lost to time and stuff like that. And a lot of the concern, at least about modern video games, is the DRM that gets tagged onto it. Like, I can't play... I really love Codemasters Toka Race Driver 3, but I can't play it on a modern computer, on a Windows... Windows XP computer, can I? Or no, not a Windows 7, or even Windows XP, just because the servers or whatever that controlled its DRM no longer exist, so you cannot play the game anymore. So that's kind of a concern and actually up for debate, because people who want to preserve these older games, or even these within the last 10 years games, they want to preserve them. Okay, we're going to crack the DRM so that we can preserve this experience for future generations. Of course, where does that come into legally? Either, maybe the company that published this game no longer exists anymore, so nobody's losing any money or rights or anything like that. But legally, one could argue that you're going against the licensing and doing very bad things, at least according to corporate law. What does that take to preserve? So yeah, it's so new of an issue. I don't know that I or anybody has a 100% answer for that. Certainly when organizations like museums they're in the business of archiving and preserving history and artifacts, once they get involved, I think that helps out quite a bit. It opens up a lot of knowledge and resources. But yeah, that's certainly... Oops, I almost made a boat, but then I didn't. I had it all put together, but I forgot to glue. Oh! All right. Perhaps we should give up on that boat, and instead remind everybody to keep going to farlandsorbust.com. Be exactly like Gardax, or Davis, or Low Floor Bus, or Tony Ski, or Sky. And when you donate, you can ask a question, give me something to discuss and talk about, and spin some of those questions around on you guys like I did this episode. And of course, also, you're helping get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world via Child's Play charity, and getting us closer to our $60,000 goal. I want to thank everybody very much for watching this episode of Far Lands or Bust, episode 609. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Pow! Right in the dinghy.